they are extremely concerned that he is going to be indicted. This grand jury's been meeting since 2018. They were suspended during COVID because of health care protocols. It's back up and running, and it's very clear that when it comes to the issues related to tax evasion and money laundering and the other issues wrapped up with it, they're extremely concerned that Hunter Biden's going to be indicted. And I think this article is an effort to frame that conversation in a way that could be the most favorable to them.
And that was investigative journalist Peter Schweitzer on this program last month, explaining why the New York Times has finally seen the light, finally admitting that Hunter Biden's laptop is real. A year and a half after we first reported that on this program. The Washington Post and CNN have also changed their tunes in the last week, but they still will not implicate President Joe Biden. Senators Ron Johnson and Chuck Grassley released a congressional report in September 2020 warning America that then-candidate Joe Biden was compromised by the Biden family accepting tens of millions in money from foreign adversary of the United States. At the time, the New York Times slammed him for what they said was promoting, quote, claims of corruption about Joe Biden Jr.'s son, Hunter, in a bid to damage Mr. Biden's presidential campaign. The media called it Russian disinformation. Now we know for sure Senator Johnson was right to point out this intelligence that showed us it was profiteering from the White House. Senator, thanks very much for being with us this morning. I want to cover three things this morning with you. I want to cover the documents that you have indicating the money that the Biden family has taken in. I want to cover the media and the cover-up that has gone on throughout the years on this subject. And number three, I want to get into the intelligence agencies, the FBI, and how they put barriers in front of you as you try to do your work. First question, do you believe Hunter Biden is going to get indicted now that we see the media coming around to reporting the truth?
Yeah, I don't know what the Justice Department is going to do. I do know I don't trust the Justice Department. And I think really what the New York Times and the Washington Post articles prove is how complicit they have been and continue to be in the cover-up. And, you know, quite honestly, they're not impartial. They're advocates for the Democrat Party of the radical left. You know, the Washington Post learned a lot of lessons from their coverage of Nixon. When you get caught in a cover-up, and that's what's happened, the media is being caught in a cover-up. They're being caught with their lies. What you do, and this is an intelligence community technique, is you engage in what they call a limited hangout, or in Nixon's case, a modified limited hangout. You've let out just enough information, just enough truth to try and get you by the moment. We can't allow our intelligence agencies, the Department of Justice, the FBI, or the media to get away with this. This is serious business. This is unbelievable corruption at the highest levels of government and within our media. We are all being snookered by them. This has been from my standpoint, a massive diversionary operation, again, you know, to try and take the American public's attention away from their wrongdoing, their lies, their cover-ups.
So before we start going further into the media, I want you to tell us what you've documented in terms of the money that the Biden family has taken in. Peter Schweitzer has been on this program and has reported that the Biden family has taken in at least $31 million from China, Chinese officials tied to the Chinese Communist Party. That certainly raises a red flag in terms of the decisions he's got to make on behalf of the United States as commander-in-chief. What have you been able to document?
Well, our report was based off almost exclusively on U.S. government documents and interviews with U.S. citizens. And, of course, it was all lied about, falsely accused of disseminating Russian disinformation. It wasn't. We had Treasury documents that showed a very troubling number of wire transfers that just detailed out a vast web of foreign financial entanglements. Specifically, we were able to document probably about $13 million of flows between Russia, between Burisma, between members of the Communist Party regime in China. But that was all ignored by the press. They looked at our report in September 2020 and just shrugged, no evidence of criminal activity here. No evidence that Joe Biden's implicated in all this, and they covered it up. And as a result, they got Joe Biden elected. Now they continue to cover up for him. But this is troubling. Now we have actual bank records that verify what we reported back in September 2020 is true. The laptop is obviously a treasure trove of additional corroborating evidence as well. And unfortunately, our intelligence agencies, I think our FBI, have been sitting on this information, and unfortunately, they were complicit as well in the cover-up.
So we also had emails, by the way, from the laptop way before the election in 2020. We showed the email of the quote-unquote big guy. Let's take a look at that email, because this is an email where they are talking about dividing up who owns what in this Chinese company that they were doing a deal with. And the email is very clear, saying 10% is going to be held by H for the big guy. And as you can see, it goes through all of the divisions in terms of who gets what. Your thoughts on this email from one of Hunter's partners, James Giller, to discuss who gets what to Tony Bobulinski, another partner of Hunter Biden?
Well, again, just to prove the complicity of the media, the Washington Post says, there's no evidence that Joe Biden's implicated in this. That's some pretty strong evidence. That's a contemporaneous email. It's been verified the big guy was Joe Biden. There's plenty of evidence that Joe Biden met, because there are photographs of him meeting with Hunter Biden's business partners. He repeatedly lied to the American public that he said he never, ever discussed Hunter Biden's overseas business deals with Hunter. Well, no, he was just photographed with his business partners. So if he's lying, bold-faced lying, that, again, is pretty good evidence that something is amiss here. If you have nothing to hide, if there's no wrongdoing, you're honest.
Yeah.
He has not been honest. So there's plenty of evidence.
I'm going to take a short break, and then we want to get into how the FBI got in the way of truth as well.